How could the world's greatest ship vanish? Why couldn't anyone save Titanic that night? The answer began long before impact. Titanic carried dreams across dangerous waters. She represented humanity's greatest technological confidence. Her builders believed disaster seemed almost impossible. Newspapers praised her extraordinary strength everywhere. Passengers called her nearly unsinkable proudly. Her enormous hull dominated Southampton's harbor. 4 towering funnels released dark smoke. Thousands watched her magnificent departure proudly. Wealthy families entered luxurious rooms upstairs. Immigrants carried hopeful dreams below decks. Everyone believed America awaited them safely. Nobody imagined disaster followed beneath waves. Titanic contained advanced watertight safety compartments. Massive doors could isolate flooded sections. Engineers trusted this revolutionary protective design. Yet safety contained a dangerous limitation. The compartments did not reach higher. Water could eventually spill between them. That weakness remained mostly unnoticed beforehand. Titanic also carried insufficient lifeboats aboard. Regulations required fewer boats than needed. The rules reflected smaller, older ships. Titanic exceeded those outdated expectations dramatically. Still, officials considered everything legally sufficient. More lifeboats would crowd elegant decks. Luxury appeared more valuable than caution. The ship sailed carrying hidden vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, wealthy passengers enjoyed grand dinners. Musicians performed inside brilliant dining halls. Children explored endless corridors with excitement. Couples admired sunsets across calm waters. The ocean seemed peaceful and welcoming. Beneath darkness, danger quietly approached them. Titanic received several iceberg warnings daily. Nearby ships reported dangerous ice fields. Wireless operators received urgent messages continuously. Some warnings reached important officers quickly. Others became lost among passenger communications. The ship continued traveling at speed. Confidence discouraged serious fears among leaders. Titanic's schedule remained extremely important. Nobody wanted unnecessary panic aboard ship. Evenings slowly covered the Atlantic Ocean. Temperatures dropped beneath freezing conditions rapidly. The sea became strangely calm that night. No waves revealed approaching icebergs clearly. Moonlight failed to brighten dark waters. Lookouts scanned the endless horizon carefully. Their eyes searched through freezing darkness. They lacked binoculars inside their station. Every shadow appeared uncertain and distant. Then something pale appeared directly ahead. A massive iceberg emerged without warning. The lookout shouted toward the bridge. Officers immediately ordered Titanic's desperate turn. Engines responded beneath enormous mechanical pressure. But the giant ship moved slowly. The iceberg grew larger every second. Titanic narrowly missed a direct collision. Instead, ice scraped along her side. The impact felt strangely small upstairs. But seawater had already entered Titanic. Below decks, freezing water rushed inward. Workers heard metal groaning beneath darkness. Seawater flooded Titanic's forward compartments rapidly. Engineers inspected the damaged ship carefully. Their expressions slowly changed into fear. The iceberg had opened several sections. Water entered more compartments than expected. Titanic's safety system faced impossible pressure. Watertight doors closed behind frightened workers. Yet water continued rising inside compartments. The ship's forward section became heavier. Titanic's bow slowly lowered toward water. Engineers studied complicated blueprints under pressure. Thomas Andrews examined every frightening detail. He understood the terrible truth first. Titanic could not survive this damage. The ship would eventually sink completely. Andrews quietly explained his calculations carefully. Captain Smith listened with growing disbelief. Their confidence disappeared inside that room. Every minute now became extremely valuable. Yet passengers remained mostly unaware upstairs. Music continued inside elegant public rooms. Waiters served drinks beneath golden lights. Some passengers noticed unusual engine vibrations. Others joked about the minor collision. Nobody imagined death waited beneath them. Captain Smith ordered lifeboats prepared immediately. Crew members uncovered wooden boats nervously. Officers gathered passengers along cold decks. Confusion spread through Titanic's crowded corridors. Many people refused leaving warm cabins. The ship still appeared completely safe. Bright lights covered every elegant deck. Titanic stood taller than tiny lifeboats. Passengers trusted steel more than wood. Some believed evacuation was unnecessary panic. Others waited for clearer official instructions. Precious time disappeared during hesitation everywhere. Meanwhile, the bow continued sinking lower. Water reached deeper sections of Titanic. Pumps worked desperately against endless flooding, but incoming water overwhelmed every effort. The ship's design offered limited resistance. Each flooded compartment worsened Titanic's angle. Water approached the tops of bulkheads. Then it spilled into neighboring sections. The safety system became a chain. One flooded room threatened another room. Titanic's enormous size became disadvantageous suddenly. The ship carried too much momentum. Her length complicated emergency maneuvering greatly. Her weight increased structural pressure everywhere. The impossible disaster became undeniable now. Captain Smith finally accepted Andrew's warning. Titanic had perhaps only hours remaining. Distress signals were ordered immediately afterward. Wireless operators returned toward their equipment. Urgent messages crossed the silent Atlantic. They called every nearby vessel repeatedly. Some ships received Titanic's desperate signals, but rescue remained dangerously far away. The nearest help could not arrive. Titanic continued sinking beneath brilliant lights, and thousands still waited for answers. The lifeboats became humanity's final hope, yet Titanic carried far too few. Only limited seats remained available aboard. Thousands faced an impossible mathematical tragedy. The boats could not save everyone. Crew members began loading passengers nervously. Officers shouted, "Women and children first." Families suddenly faced heartbreaking separation everywhere. Mothers carried frightened children toward safety. Fathers remained behind, hiding their fear. Husbands promised they would follow later. Many knew those promises were impossible. Some lifeboats departed partially empty initially. Passengers feared entering small wooden boats. Titanic still looked stronger than lifeboats. Her lights continued glowing across darkness. The decks remained surprisingly calm initially. Some people refused abandoning their cabins. Others returned searching for valuable belongings. Time vanished while uncertainty controlled everyone. Crew members struggled enforcing evacuation orders. Different officers interpreted rules differently. Some allowed men into empty seats. Others strictly protected women's priority. Confusion created unequal chances for survival. Social class influenced access and information. First-class passengers reached upper decks quickly. Many third-class families faced confusing corridors. Locked barriers increased fear and delay. Language differences complicated urgent instructions further. Some families became separated inside passageways. Children cried while adults searched desperately. The ship's bow continued sinking lower. Cold seawater approached the lower decks. Steam escaped loudly from hidden machinery. The ship slowly revealed her danger. Passengers finally understood the terrible truth. Panic replaced earlier disbelief and hesitation. Crowds rushed toward remaining lifeboats desperately. Officers fired warning shots above passengers. Crew members fought to maintain order. Every remaining seat became priceless suddenly. Wealth could not guarantee survival anymore. Courage could not create additional boats. Love could not stop rising water. Some people refused leaving loved ones. Others sacrificed their places for strangers. One decision changed entire family histories. A mother entered while her husband stayed. A child survived without either parent. Brothers separated beside descending lifeboats. Strangers held hands during final moments. The ocean waited beneath every boat. Darkness swallowed the ship's distant sounds. Lifeboats drifted farther from Titanic slowly. Survivors watched the enormous vessel helplessly. Its bow disappeared deeper beneath waves. The stern rose higher toward stars. Music reportedly continued amid growing terror. Each note fought against approaching silence. Then the final lifeboats departed overloaded. Hundreds remained trapped aboard Titanic. The ship's last chances disappeared quickly. The freezing ocean surrounded everyone completely, and Titanic began surrendering to darkness. Titanic's bow disappeared beneath freezing waters. The stern slowly climbed toward stars. Thousands gathered across increasingly tilted decks. Loose objects crashed through crowded corridors. Furniture slid toward the sinking bow. Passengers struggled against gravity and panic. Crew members shouted final evacuation orders. The remaining lifeboats drifted farther away. Their passengers watched Titanic helplessly. The ship's lights still burned brightly. Music faded beneath metal groaning sounds. Steam erupted from damaged machinery below. The enormous hull began bending dangerously. Every beam endured unbearable pressure silently. The ship was breaking beneath herself. Some passengers climbed toward the stern. Others remained trapped inside flooded rooms. Families searched desperately through darkness. Friends called names above roaring water. Nobody knew where safety remained anymore. The deck tilted beyond comfortable movement. People grabbed railings with frozen hands. Shoes slipped across wet wooden surfaces. Crowds pressed toward higher sections desperately. Fear transformed strangers into desperate survivors. Yet kindness still appeared during chaos. Some helped children reach safer places. Others gave coats to frightened strangers. A few chose remaining with loved ones. They refused surviving alone without them. Titanic's lights suddenly flickered overhead. Darkness swallowed entire sections immediately. Screams echoed across the freezing ocean. The stern rose almost vertically upward. Passengers clung desperately to railings. The sky appeared impossibly close above. Then Titanic's massive structure finally failed. A violent crack shook everything violently. The ship broke beneath unbearable pressure. Its forward section vanished underwater first. The remaining stern fell back briefly. Then it sank beneath rising darkness. Hundreds entered the freezing Atlantic instantly. The cold shocked every exposed body. Breath disappeared beneath painful icy water. People screamed and called for help. Their voices filled the empty night. Lifeboats heard cries across dark waters. Many survivors feared returning immediately. They worried desperate crowds might overwhelm boats. The cries slowly became fewer afterward. Silence spread across the Atlantic again. Titanic had completely disappeared beneath waves. Only scattered wreckage remained floating nearby. The ocean hid thousands beneath darkness. Survivors sat frozen inside lifeboats. Some searched the horizon for rescue. Others stared toward Titanic's final location. Nobody could understand what happened completely. The unsinkable ship had vanished forever. Yet rescue ships continued approaching slowly. Hope remained somewhere beyond the horizon. Dawn would reveal the terrible truth. The survivors waited through endless darkness, and the ocean kept Titanic's secret. Dawn slowly revealed the terrible aftermath. Lifeboats floated across silent icy waters. Survivors shivered beneath heavy blankets silently. Empty oceans surrounded their fragile boats. Then distant smoke appeared beyond horizons. The rescue ship Carpathia approached survivors. Its crew worked tirelessly through freezing conditions. One by one, survivors climbed aboard. Families searched desperately among unfamiliar faces. Some reunions ended with joyful tears. Others received unbearable silence instead. Names were called without any answer. The ocean had taken countless lives. Carpathia rescued more than 700. Yet thousands never reached another ship. Their absence filled every crowded deck. The world soon learned Titanic vanished. Newspapers spread shocking stories across continents. People demanded answers from powerful companies. How could such tragedy happen? Why had Titanic carried insufficient lifeboats? Why were iceberg warnings underestimated repeatedly? Why had the ship maintained speed? Why did rescue arrive so late? No single mistake destroyed Titanic. Many failures joined together that night. Confidence weakened caution before disaster arrived. Outdated regulations allowed insufficient lifeboats aboard. Design limitations worsened flooding after impact. High speed reduced valuable reaction time. Calm waters concealed approaching icebergs completely. Darkness made distant danger nearly invisible. Communication failures delayed important warnings significantly. Confusion wasted precious evacuation minutes everywhere. Social barriers complicated passengers' escape routes. Lifeboats departed with empty seats initially. Nearby ships misunderstood Titanic's distress signals. Rescue remained tragically distant and delayed. Every failure made another failure worse. Together, they created an unstoppable catastrophe. Titanic was not defeated by ice. She was defeated by accumulated decisions. The iceberg only exposed hidden weaknesses. The ship carried danger before sailing. Pride had shaped many crucial choices. Luxury sometimes mattered more than safety. Profit influenced decisions behind beautiful designs. Confidence made warnings easier to dismiss. Yet Titanic changed maritime safety forever. Ships began carrying enough lifeboats afterward. Radio operators remained active around clocks. International ice patrols monitored dangerous waters. Safety regulations became stricter worldwide afterward. Thousands died, but lessons survived. Those lessons protected future travelers everywhere. Still, history remembers more than failures. It remembers courage during impossible moments. It remembers families separated beneath stars. It remembers strangers helping one another. It remembers music facing overwhelming fear. Titanic disappeared beneath dark waters, but her story never disappeared completely. Perhaps Titanic could have been saved? But prevention required choices made earlier. The tragedy began before ice appeared.